Hey guys, welcome to another Buckman's Model Mania. Tonight, like it says in the description, I'm going to start on issue 55, and I plan on going through issue 62 on the Iron Man. Had a good time with him last week, so I decided I would do him again this week. That just sounds so wrong, but you know. So yeah, all I've got laid out tonight, instead of having all of him, I just laid out the parts that I expect I might work with. These are all the parts that are not assembled to anything else. I've got the two arms. Hey, Todd, welcome. I've got the two arms, one leg, and the head over in the box still. And so I'm going to go ahead and get at it. First issue is 55. And this is going to be, I already looked in the book, this is a very extensive issue. I mean, it's huge. And if you don't catch the sarcasm in my voice, it's because it's there, or it should be. Because when I say huge, I mean, we get these three parts. This is a thigh plate, matches that one. I wonder, is it marked? It is indeed. It says there's an R on there. See if you can, yeah, you can see the R there. Just like there's an L there. And I will tell you right now, I'm not on the other bench tonight because, let me think, which one is it? I don't know off the top of my head. The other bench is trashed. Been working on the Voyager, and the Voyager is coming along, but it just, a lot of soldering, a lot of things that I got to do to it. So it makes a pretty good mess. So I'm going to keep that one for super glue later. This one is too deep to really use super glue with, so it goes in the trash. And so here is the build. Done. That's all of stage 55, is putting that little piece onto this golden piece. Both of these pieces are metal. This part is plastic. So on to stage 56. And by the way, Todd is in the chat. He was not able to make it because he's out and about doing stuff. He's got a life. He's acting like he's got a life. Eric is snowed about 18 feet under right now. They're having another blizzard. But according to what his wife posted on Facebook, he might have there might actually be an end in sight. They're supposed to be in the 50s by the middle of next week. Whereas right now, let me see. So it's 75 in here. Get this out of here. 66 outside. Oh, by the way, since I'm using OBS with the with StreamYard, I decided to stop doing the facial shots because I'm out of sync. And I figured out what that is, Todd. It's because we were talking about it a little bit. It's because on OBS, and there, I can't delay the microphone because the microphone is going straight to StreamYard. So on OBS, the camera would have to be delayed, not the mic. So I figure I can just leave the hat off for right now. So we've got these three parts. We got front of the thigh plate, the outer thigh plate, and another outer thigh plate. And on this one, I'm trying to put that on the wrong part. In this stage, this is from issue. I didn't work on it at all, but I figured it out. What it is because OBS is processing the video before it sends it to StreamYard. and StreamYard is processing the audio. Therefore, my audio and video is always going to be messed up unless I use only one or the other. So this is the final assembly from stage 53, and that just pushes on there. There's 2 pins on there, go into the sockets on the thigh part, and that's it. As you can see, I have these for the left thigh. Yeah, and that's it for stage 56. And this is why I quit doing the Ironman for a while, because I needed to get enough parts to actually have something to do. On stage 57, there's screws in here. That means it might take more than 5 or 10 minutes. While I'm talking about stuff like this, I have been, one of the part works that I have, that I'm collecting the parts for, the Movement House, I am really, really excited for that thing when I get enough parts to start it. It's got, you know, I've seen buildings that you can do as models before. This is really cool because it actually has framework inside the walls. I've been watching a girl, I think she's in Russia. I've been watching her build it, and I'm like, this is really awesome. A lot of work to it. I mean, it's going to be probably on some of the later stages, an hour or more on each stage. So, like I said, looking very much forward to it. So we got the inner thigh plate, matches this one. Actually, I think, yeah. Matches this one, not this one. Got interior of the thigh structure and these 2 thigh caps. All these parts are plastic. And these are the red chrome. So on here, just looking to make sure, you've got the 2 lugs there and there that these pins with screw holes will go into. So it'll go on there. That one's lined. Okay, there we go. Wasn't lining up. Go on there like that. It's still not staying in place very well, which is why it has 2 screws. I was about to say, where's the screwdriver? Because I couldn't see it. Oh, and anybody who watched Donnie last night, hey, Gordon, welcome. Yeah, anybody who watched Donnie last night when he tried the projector, he did post on Discord today that he swapped out the batteries, and the batteries were the problem. The projector now works. Get this screw on here. Now, I'm thinking, depending on how long the other parts of the Ironman take, I might stick with the Ironman until I run out of parts, because it's not going to take more than a couple of weeks, and then we'll go back to the Rootmaster and get it finished up. And hopefully by that time, I will be getting Ghostbuster car parts, because I want to start the Movement House probably in July. That'll give me about 4 months worth of parts, which should keep the streams on it going relatively well. Okay, that's how that goes in there. You can see the 2 screws on the inside. And then these caps, this one's marked R2. This one's R1. I don't know if you can see that. Had it there for a second. You can see R1. Eric, welcome. R1 goes on here, and this is just a push fit. Goes on there like that. And then R2 goes on here. Again, same pin, pushed fit. And so that's what those two pieces of the thigh look like. How's the snow, Eric? Wait a minute. Did I miss something, Gordon? Why do you have stitches? I must have been asleep at the switch at some point. Eric, tell Karina I'd love to, but no. No, snow is not my favorite. Okay, nothing left in the bag. Yeah, tell Karina, not just no, but nope, not gonna happen. My wife, on the other hand, might want to come up and see the snow. But if I come up there and to this where you're at with the snow, you'll probably make me shovel it. So that right there is a hinge support. So they canceled school for tomorrow. They'd already canceled it for Wednesday, I thought. Instep protector, a couple of screws, and this part is metal. That is the right shin guard. Oh, well, hopefully it's nothing bad. Yeah, it's always good to get those lumps checked out. And getting the biopsy on it is really important. So these are AM screws, which means I'm going to need the oil. I don't want to put it on the towel. It's kind of funny. These are AM screws until you turn the bag over, and then they turn into MA screws. And so you lay the shin down like this, or the shin protector right here. Come on, focus. You can see the groove that the part's going to sit down into. It sits in there just like that. And then there's a screw hole right above it where this will attach. Just double check, no magic. Yeah. We'll go on here somewhat like that. It's not on the screw hole. So let me get out a screw for it. Only one. Get an oil and see if I can get it to line up and go into the part, into the metal part. Get that straightened out and tighten her on down. Just start to get better, and then something else comes along and kicks me back down again. Yeah, that is bad. I mean, and I know what you're saying, because I've got some issues going on. My back is starting to act up again. So it's part of getting older. Make sure. So that is now on there, and you can see it pivots. And that'll actually be so that the toe can move. So that was issue 58. So issue 59. I'm not going to do as much as Todd did on his. Absolutely. Fit as a fiddle and raring to go. So these are IP screws again. Really terrible how quickly these stages for the Iron Man go. Huh, that sounds good. That would be awesome, Todd. Because the key thing with that, if Todd can make it happen, is getting StreamYard to recognize the audio out of OBS. Okay, so we have the inner support for the calf and the circuit board for the calf. And they're going to go together something like that. Oh, there's the problem. There's actually a couple of holes right there, and I apologize. I was out of. It's going to go. I had it like this. Said it was going to go something like that. It is close to that, except for this part slips down through here, and then here, there's the socket right there, the tab that goes into that socket there. And then you can see the two holes here that are going to go into these two posts here. And these posts have screw holes in them. So it's going to slide in here like this. What's catching? Oh, there. There's a couple of tabs right here that have to catch the leg. And so we'll put the screws in here. Something's not right because that's not catching. Tabs on this side. Let's try this again. I apologize. I'm off screening then. Kind of using the blue towel to mark where I'm working on the Iron Man. So there you can see the two screws. These two tabs here hold it in this way. And then there's a couple of tabs here. It's more just the edge of the thing holding it there. And then the pin is actually down inside this socket here. And that, I'm afraid, is all of issue 59. But issue 60, I believe, has a little bit more to do. Matter of fact, let me get out my paint markers. So issue 60 has several screws with it. And several parts. You got an NP, an AM, IM, and EM. So let me get the screws put away first. There's the NP. Move this up out of the way because I don't need it right now. Along with that, what's that? Donnie's on Discord talking about the camera. Not so much the camera, but the projector on R2. So EM, IM, and AM, 3 boxes. So the AM screws. And this is all plastic so far. EM screws. And what Eric says every morning when he looks outside and sees another blizzard. The IM screws. Sorry, Eric. Had to. So let me set this off to the side right now. Not working with those parts. Need the final assembly of 57, the knee. And the final assembly of issue 50. I'm sorry, this was 51. This is 57, I believe. That should go in here. Do I have the wrong one? I believe I have the wrong one. Yep. So I was looking for this pin here and it wasn't there. So this goes on here like that. There's a pin on the metal part here and a socket for a screws right there. And that's where the NP screw is going to go. I can actually put that away because I think there's only one screw needed there. I saw you a long time ago, Gilly. I apologize, guys. I haven't been throwing the chat up on the screen, but I think it's been working out okay. Let me see. Let's go back. What is it? It's 8:25 now. we'll go back to Eric saying that Gordon will be fit in as a fiddle in no time. Gordon said, I think so. Todd says he thinks he has an idea for running the audio through the audio through OBS and into StreamYards. He says, be right back. Gilly says goodbye to Todd. Eric says, hey, Gil. So apparently you guys aren't all on the same page, on the same stream, because it's being streamed to two places. Gilly says, hi, all. Wow, you guys just seen me. And Todd said, Buck misses me. I do, Todd. I get used to not having to do anything with the chat. Of course, on the other hand, Johnny responds to the chat, kinda. Donnie was on last night for like 15 minutes with his audio not going. Never noticed. We're sitting there saying we can't hear you, and he's just going on and on. I even sang a verse for him. Okay, I typed it. Sang a verse for him of The Sound of Silence. So that goes on there like that, and you can see the screw right there holding it in. I'm not going to flex it because this is a very strong spring in here, and I don't want to damage the plastic. So the next part, you take the shin, and on here you got the post there, 2 posts with screw holes. That tab has the 2 screw holes in it. So it's going to fit in here just like that. And that's going to use the IM screws. You need 2 of them. Get a little bit more oil out. Dip it in the oil. Get it started. Do the same thing with the second one. Get it started as well. Now tighten them both down. You guys probably didn't see it, but I felt it as I was tightening the second screw down. This was actually leaning forward, and as I tightened it, it came up. So that's got the leg relatively it's getting there. It's not complete by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see how big it's going to be. Just spoiler alert, big as the other one. And then this is where I've got to be cognizant of what I'm doing, because you got 2 screw holes here going onto the 2 posts here, but I got to pay attention to these wires here, because they have to end up on the top side of this knee. And when they end up on the top side of the knee, if I remember right, on the other one, I threaded it through the knee. I think through the back. Let me take a look real quick. Oh, heavy. Yeah. So you can see the wire for the lighting in this foot runs up here through the back of the knee. So once I put the foot on here, I'll do the same here. I'll run that wire up through the back of the knee. That's gonna be attached with. It doesn't tell me. Oh, that's why it doesn't tell me, because it doesn't get attached alone. Get these out. Get those out without losing these actuators. That's a good piece of plastic. And so this part here has to go in at the same time. Does it show where that goes? So this pivot point these pivot points are going to go right here at the top of the armor on the shin. These 3 posts are going to sit over top of these 3 posts. So it'll go on here. That it's not actually as wide, which tells me something is going to get attached there eventually, but it's going to sit on these posts just like that, except I'm missing one part. That's going to sit on there like that. So this is then going to sit on top, and see if I can do this without dropping it. And that would probably be helpful too, if I put this on the right way. Does it go on that way? It looks like. Just double checking. Yeah, so that'll go on there like that. I was trying to put it on backwards. Todd says he thinks he's got it. So we'll have to try on Friday, or maybe before, to see if we can figure that out, Todd. So speak of the devil. I heard a boop.
Does it work?
Todd? Todd?
Check, check. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh.
Are you going through OBS?
I am.
So we'll have to sort that out, figure out how the rest of us can do it.
Yeah, if you want to hang out after the stream, we can give it a go.
Okay. Hang on.
The nice thing about doing it this way is we can actually mix in multiple sources, multiple mics, the Windows sounds, like if you want to play a video or something. And you just have to install you have to install a virtual patch cable, basically a virtual audio cable. It's free, and it's from the same company I use my voice meter, but you don't need that.
You just don't know. There have been so many times that I've had sound effects sitting here that I could play, usually about Eric.
Yeah, because you could mix in your like your desktop sounds, or particular like you could you could capture an application as an audio source, like if you had a soundboard or something.
Yeah. Well, I've got one that I don't remember what it was for, but it was why I got it. But it's one that can work very often in the streams. The sound of crickets. Okay, make sure that's all in there. I forget, Todd. Does the knee only bends at the top, right?
No, it bends at both parts of the knee. It is a very stiff connection. Like it'll bend.
Yeah.
You just gotta like really wrench on it. Feels like it's gonna break. You gotta basically push the. Remember those two gears that are spring loaded? You gotta push those gears apart to go to the next stage. You can do it, but feels like you're gonna break the leg off.
Here, it can't bend very much on the bottom.
No, it doesn't. But that's why it bends in two. That's why it bends in two places.
Okay.
Most of the bending is going to be up in the upper part.
So let me run this wire up here, which I almost made this one too short. It just barely makes it through there.
Yeah, I actually fed it up, my wire up inside the knee. It's a little tricky, but.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think you were off playing with OBS when I said that I run the other one up through the back of the knee.
That's probably true.
The nice thing is, using the magnet wire, it goes through there really well. But I've decided after getting the wire that I've been using, and of course I do the same thing that I use the wire that Boyd uses from TrekWorks. Man, the hookup wire versus the magnet wire is awesome. The solder takes to it like nobody's business. Okay, so this goes on here and gets 3 AM screws. It's going to attach here, here, and here through these 3 spots here. I think that should be. That should be the only 3 screws. Dip this in oil. Set this on here. We'll start on the bottom one first. Yeah, because with the sound issue, you were originally thinking delaying the sound, right?
Yeah, you can delay sound or delay video, but it depends on which one's in front of the other because you can't add a negative delay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think if both your sound and your audio, or I mean your audio and your video both go through OBS, they'll stay in sync. So we'll give it a shot.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing now, and you can hear me, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that it's because only one was coming through OBS. Okay. That's the screw head. Or the apex. I'll be honest, for a while there, I thought I was going to have about a 10-minute stream with as quick as these stages were going.
Then you got to the good one that has lots of stages, lots of things to do.
Yep. This is the final of the building the Iron Man stage, because you put lots of parts from the leg together. Just like the last stages on building the whole thing, you're going to put lots of stuff together at that point.
Yeah, it feels good to at least clean up some of the loose parts and put them together.
Yeah. So let me see. Okay, these are all identical. Let me see. What did I do on there? Okay, just that. No, I did the whole piece. And a part that's not there yet. Okay. I'm just looking to see what I chromed when I chromed.
Oh, did you chrome some things?
Yep. It would look funny with chrome on only one leg.
Yeah, I realized that when I started to do the other leg. I'm like, all the things I painted silver and chrome and gold and inside that leg, I'm like, oh, I got to do it all again.
Yeah, you have to. Once you do one side, you got to do the other. I think the large one should work. Move the mouse, put the paper towel down. Paint is flowing. Yay! Okay. That's the other thing, is getting this back then onto the Iron Man without rubbing off all the chrome.
Oh, did you chrome the whole thing?
No, I'm not. I'm chroming it now.
No, I mean that whole detail. You chromed the whole thing, not just certain parts of it.
I'm chroming the back part of it.
Well, the nice thing
Not
is,
the sides.
Oh, well, you should just install a ball and then chrome it. Make it a lot easier. They just pop in, then just run your pen down the back of them.
I think. Just try not to chrome Iron Man's leg. I'm just looking to see.
Or at least maybe just the part that goes underneath that arch. Just chrome that,
Yeah.
and then you come back and chrome the rest.
Yep.
Just to make it easier on you. That way you won't rub the chrome off as you're pushing those pins in, you know?
I mean, like I just did?
Yep.
I've been chromed.
Yeah. And that stuff takes so long to dry. I'm convinced it doesn't ever dry. Because you can rub it off like 2 weeks later.
Well, don't need the glove on, because I think I agree with what you said. Push these in first, because it takes some pretty serious push to get them in there.
If you don't think you'll be able to get your chrome pen to that part that's underneath the arch, just chrome that tip.
Actually, I should be able to.
Oh, okay.
When I looked at the other leg, there's parts that go up underneath here that you can't get to when they're in there.
Well, the cover that goes over this, I don't even think opens high enough that you'll be able to tell the difference anyway.
You know how it is. A lot of this stuff you're never going to see again. You won't notice it. Okay.
I bought I was thinking about, I have all my display cabinets, and there's various things in there that are lighted, that I've added lights to, like the Diagon Alley and my DeLorean's in there and things like that. And I've put together a collection of stuff to put them on a smart plug,
Yeah.
Like I have a couple USB strips that remember their power state. They have switchable ports. And then Casa they have a smart power strip now, and you can individually turn on the plugs.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like $29. I'm like, I'm totally going to do that, because I can run all of my bookcases off different plugs. I'm going to see if I can do it. Got to drill some holes in the shelves, but run the cords.
Well, I know that I've got a couple of smart plugs here. Now that's why I've got two separate. I got two separate circuits for my lights.
Yeah, this gives you 6 plugs on a power strip, and each one can be controlled individually.
That's nice.
Through either a mobile app. Then you can group them. You can group like let's say plug 1 and 6 and group 2 and 3, and then you can give that a name, and then you can have your Alexa turn on and off.
The key thing to remember when you're doing that is don't name them the same thing.
Yeah.
Because my wife's village, I had them named Village 1, Village 2, Village 3, Village 4, and it just never played nice. Okay. That is what I'm going to chrome on there. And I can pop this back on here. And we have a second leg, or at least a major portion of it. All right. Issue 61. Oh, look, it's the other pieces that I chromed.
Now look at all the stuff that's in your hand. That was a whole issue.
I know.
I swear this thing could be done in 50 issues, half the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. The one I'm getting ready to start, the Moomin House, you might have only, well, you might end up with probably more than that, say that many parts, but you're cutting parts apart, you're gluing them, you're sanding. I mean, I am looking forward to that thing because it's not like a normal part work. You're actually doing a lot to it.
Well, and the opponents to, part work, I sit there and go, you got 3 little plastic pieces for $15, And this issue, is those tiny little pieces, and that's one whole issue that's, $15 nowadays.
Hey, Steve.
Look here. Hi, Steve. Evening, buddy.
And I can agree with that, Todd, except for, they trade off. You get 3 little parts, these 3 little plastic pieces for $15, but at the same time, you get some of these issues that have got massive metal pieces in them.
Yeah. Well, I think about it like when you remember when you got the DeLorean body. Did you build the DeLorean?
Oh, yeah.
When you got, I think it was stage 10 or something. When you got the frame, for example, and then I think it's like 60 or something where you get the main black body, and you're like, okay, well that offsets the cheap, the bag of plastic bits.
Yeah. Or like Donnie's building the R2. When you get the dome,
yeah,
that piece is pretty phenomenal.
Well, and what about like the foot motors that come with not just the motor, but a stepper gearbox, and the wiring and the circuit board and everything? You're like, okay, that's probably more than $15.
Yeah. So throw some chrome on here.
I wonder if Steve watched Donnie's R2 build and realized that Donnie did the same thing that Steve did.
I didn't catch that. What did he do?
He wasn't holding the detail parts together in the upper part of the leg when he flipped it over to put the screws in, and they fell out. He had to take it apart together again.
Those little silver parts. Well, I will tell you, and I think you did the R2. You probably did the exact same thing. I did that too. I remember those parts falling out.
The R2 is actually a great build. I mean, it is. You end up with a product that is a usable thing. Like you can drive it around, you can watch the camera on your phone, you can make it make sounds, and you can flip you can literally do something with it versus a lot of these things they're display only. People aren't rolling their DeLorean across the floor and playing with it.
How do you know? Well, I can do that if I want.
You could. It may It reminds me of when I was a kid, I had a metal Dukes of Hazzard, like the General Lee, and it was a good
Yeah.
size. It was probably 1/8 scale or 1/10 scale or something, just a toy. And I used to set up the ironing board and drive it off the ironing board because it's supposed to jump.
Until you broke it.
Oh yeah, no, it broke. Took quite a few licks before it did, though. I used to have the Kenner, the Knight Rider. You know, the plastic Knight Rider Kenner toy that you push the license plate and it would talk. But that was plastic. You know, at least the General Lee was metal.
Yeah. Well, and see, here's what's funny. This is even. I want to say you're less than or just over 10 years older or younger than I am. The
I'm
toy
48.
because, huh?
I'm 48.
Yeah, so you're just under 10 years younger than I am. Knight Rider, Kit, those things. I didn't have them as a kid because I kind of was aged out by that point a little bit.
Oh, that was past your time. You were in the real
Yeah.
world by then.
Yeah. Well, but what's funny is the toy that I had that I thought was the greatest thing. I remember this. I was like 4 or 5. These days, 4 or 5. Oh, good God. Your kid is playing with a machine gun on his tricycle?
Yeah. I'm going to answer Steve here real quick. He said, what color cutting mat should I get so it doesn't mess with my camera? I'll be honest with you. The mat that he has, that Buck has, for whatever reason, it seems like these cameras like blue. When the thing about getting like a black mat or a white mat or even a gray mat is it tends to throw the exposure out because you'll be working on something in the center and it thinks, okay, well, that's really dark, so I'll make it bright. That blows the mat out, or vice versa. You know, it thinks the mat is too dark and it's going to blow out whatever you're working on. Most cameras struggle with reds. They make them orange. So I try to stay away from red and oranges. Like you can see even on Buck's camera, this is the nice ZV-1. His toolbox in the upper left there has this glow to it. It's like it oversaturates oranges and things like that. Just cameras have a tendency to do that. But I would go with a blue, like the blue and yellow is nice, a blue and white. Just a medium like a royal blue. That's what I would do. I never had those kind of problems when that's the first mat I ever got when I built the DeLorean, and I think I did the R2 on that mat too. I would stick with like a blue.
Yeah, well, I remember on one of the streams I had, and it was one of the Iron Man streams. I had the red Iron Man on a red towel. That was terrible.
And that's
Everybody's like,
there's something about my Canon, like my DSLR, it shoots reds as kind of an orange, and it struggles. But there's something about having a blue mat that your colors on your screen are all pretty accurate. You know what I mean? Like the colors, the red and the legs, the picture, the colors of the magazine, things like that. And some of that comes from the color correction that it does when it has the blue. So it knows what saturation and what's exposure is at, and the camera's trying to do all the stuff itself. There's something about the blue that I just find the easiest to use.
It has a bit to do with the camera too, because the $10 camera on the other mat, on the other blue mat, I come out orange.
Yeah, it's not. I've used so many different colors. The green I use for Knight Rider kind of comes out kind of lime, especially when I have to brighten it up. A lot of times I brighten my photos because I'm shooting such a fast shutter with the camera, so I don't get blurry screw heads. And I'm hand holding.
Yeah.
Since I'm hand shooting, right? I don't use a tripod. Since I'm hand shooting, even with image stabilization in the lens, it's still sometimes that's why I take 4 or 5 pictures of every step. And because I'm shooting such a fast shutter, the pictures are typically darker, even though my lab itself is pretty bright. And there's just something about, like, Canons shoot warm, Sony's tend to shoot cool, a little cooler, but it's something about just having a blue matte in the screen. This seems like their colors. It doesn't like yours is more saturated unless you get into that orange area.
Yeah. Well, and the blue matte with the blue towel is really good. And it's funny because I had the side cameras on tonight, and they had the strobing line going through them because I'm using the shop lights instead of these ones. But these ones tend to get where they're parked, they glare a little bit, like right here, right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that's nice. That's nice about the blue matte. Like if you the underside of that matte, is it printed or is it just blue? Like if you just peel it up.
Gray.
Oh, it's gray. It's almost better to have one that doesn't even have the lines because you have the towel down, your camera isn't trying to focus on the leg, then the lines, then the leg, then the lines, then the leg, then the lines. The lines actually make the autofocus freak.
So what you're saying is that the matte that I've got on the other side, which is blue on the back, I should use that.
Yeah, because I've noticed but the pictures seem to come out better when I have the matte upside down. And a lot of times I'll turn the matte upside down when I'm painting or stuff because I don't want to get the grid all messed up. And just pure blue with no printing on it just seemed to work really nice.
Okay. So did the chrome. And that was, these three pieces were the last of issue 61.
The piston looks really good, chromed.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's all underneath here.
Yeah.
You go ahead and take that off for her.
That's all right. You'll feel bad when you put that piece on and scrape all the paint off, and then you'll be like, oh, it's going to happen, though.
Yeah. Okay. So we've seen this before, but it's been like 8 months. This is just like the others, the shin guard, except for this goes on the back. Got the piece here that goes into the groove. Got the plastic here that's going to cover it and hold it down. And having older hands, it's almost difficult to get that switched around to where you need it. And so this is going to get held in by EM screws. I'm looking at the pictures. I look at pictures, and usually there's a thing that says what screw it is, but there's nothing up here. So I'm like, what screw does that use?
You know what? They usually do that in there. I'm surprised that I've never noticed that in the magazine. They didn't say what screws to use. I mean, they do in the text, but in the picture itself.
Yeah. I never look at the text. I was lost there for a minute because I had to read.
Oh, you poor thing.
Come on, get in there. When I like to mention what each part is made of, the part that goes across here and holds the hinge together is plastic. The main part of the leg guard is metal, and this part here is plastic. They actually did some, I mean, I would love to be able to do that kind of a paint job on plastic.
No, it's one thing I noticed about this model is that they managed to get the plastic painted parts and the metal painted parts perfect. Like they match. They do really good.
Unlike a certain DeLorean.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting because we have these little tiny washers that go into these little sockets I'll probably instead of putting them in the sockets, I'll put them around the screws. And
I think
then
that's what they want you to do. Anyway.
Is it?
Yeah, I distinctly remember saying put the washers on the screw before you.
Now I'm looking at it. Let's see. Place the friction disc in the hole and fix the parts together with an EM screw.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
No. It wants you to put the disc into the hole. And I remember this is a pain to get this through here. It goes on somewhat like that. Because you got to get it underneath either side of the shin guard and lined up at the same time.
There you go. That's what I did.
What, slid it up from the bottom?
Yeah. You got to get it in between the outer metal.
There we go. That's where it goes. Just like that. But it still doesn't want to play nice. Okay, that's why. I'm sitting here looking at the leg going, why is my ankle canted off? Just because. Let me take a look. Okay. Matching it to the other one. It is exactly opposite, so it's good. So let me get.
Are you talking about how the foot kind of leans into the inside of the leg?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so he can stand with his legs apart and still have his feet
flat.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. The leg will almost stand, but not quite. Let me double check. I should have inside of one of these boxes because they give you a spare. Oh, it's not in the box. It's in the bag. I still have the spare washer. Somewhere. There they are. Ha! I got to it before you got a chance to say over there.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Well, what's funny, you've heard me. Actually, I don't think I've said it, but I have been typing on Discord before and said, somebody say over there so I can find this thing I'm looking for. So that friction disc actually works being in the spot when you put the screw in. Okay, that can go away. Get one of these out. I was about to drop it on the towel, but that would be bad. I would never see it again. Those two are in there. Pop that back in there. Why? I don't know. Maybe Eric will build this someday and need extra washers.
I wonder if Donnie's used any of the screws, two screws I sent him.
I think he had to because of the dome. Oh, that's a little tight. Didn't tighten the screws that tightly, but oh, that's a little tight.
Yeah, but it's going to grind on the paint. when you open it up, you'll see. Once it's open, you open and close it, it'll chew the paint up right there at the screw junction, but it's okay.
Interesting. Oh, man. No, that's... You're right. The chrome never dries.
Did you chrome it?
I chromed it while I was putting it on. But I got it, for the most part, off. Matter of fact, the camera is not even picking it up. Right there.
You got some alcohol? Alcohol, take it right off.
I got Tamiya brush cleaner, and I was like, no.
That's basically alcohol.
It's paint thinner, man.
Tamiya is not a paint thinner. Tamiya is alcohol based.
The airbrush cleaner?
Yeah.
Actually, think about it.
The Partworks use enamel paints, so I don't want to worry about, because I use acrylics.
I want to say this is closer to MEK than alcohol.
Ooh. You don't have any IPA nearby?
Contains butyl acetate and acetone.
Oh, God. Ew. Jeez.
Well, you remember, the Tamiya airbrush cleaner is 99% the same as this. Matter of fact, in this jar, it is the same as that, because this is Tamiya extra thin, or I mean Tamiya airbrush cleaner, and this is Tamiya extra thin.
Steve got a 30x60. That's a big one. I like it.
That's huge.
I need a big blue mat too. Gilly says, Steve, you need to buy 2 and send him 1.
And then Gilly will cut it down to size.
And you know what I just realized too is that light blue matches our HTM logo. Get the blue with the yellow stripes. How perfect is that?
That is perfect. All right. So I have another Iron Man leg done. And, let me show you. You're absolutely right. You can see right there where it's already cut through the paint.
That's where it comes off. It's just the sharp edges right there and that forward leg piece just tend to scrape the paint off. Now there's gonna be another piece hiding in front of that, so maybe it won't matter. You won't see it, but
yeah, this piece right here.
Yeah, so it's not really a big deal.
Well, I'm looking. You can't even see it on the left leg.
There you go.
Okay, so that is issue 62, which was as far as I was planning on going tonight.
Well, you made
it. Yep. Still got a stack of parts, but I'm actually kind of pleased. Let me move this leg out of the way, because the spare parts, if you look, they're starting to pair up. Oh, this belongs to that foot. Don't have 2 of these yet, but I think these are shin guards of some sort. And since the spare parts.
How many packs do you have that you haven't built yet? Or is this everything you've received?
Give me a second. So I just did 62. I have to look at my tracking. I have 16 more parts. So if I continue doing 8 a week, I have 2 more weeks of Iron Man. And nope, not quite. I was going to say about then is when I get more parts, but I'm not due to be charged until the 26th of April. I'm a geek. I have a spreadsheet to track my part works.
Okay, I have a Google Keep that does that. It tells me which ones what order to write the articles in, and which ones are built, and which ones are waiting on instructions, and
yeah. Well, it's what I do for a living. I'm a budget analyst. So, like I said, pretty much paired up, which means when I get a second one of these and a second one of these, parts will probably start going together. No spoilers, Todd. Because I know you're much further than I am.
I'm actually not that much further. I think I'm at 74, something like that.
Huh. Although I do, just because you've talked about how obnoxious it is. I don't know that anybody has ever seen it. And I brought it in here on purpose.
Oh,
there's the obnoxious little stand.
Yes.
Wow. Everywhere you can see where I put
do you have do you like a microfiber cloth?
I do.
Just wipe that off. Just rub it in. It'll go away.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. The oil leaked through.
Actually, he'll fit on there pretty okay.
You know what's interesting? I think, did you already build the small stand or no? That comes in 70. I think you're just about to it.
Yes, the small stand is in 70 and 71.
Yeah, the upright, the actual mast, the actual upright mast with the big clamp on it is going to get put into this stand. You don't get a new one. If you read the instructions closely, they keep calling the little one a work stand. Like at some point, you're going to have to use that to finish the model, and then the display stand is the final thing.
Well, I took one look at that little stand when I got the parts, and I was like, no. Plus, I've already did some figuring, and I will be drilling a hole in the side of this stand and putting in a plug for a wall wart.
Oh yeah, yep.
So, okay, like I was saying, that's all for tonight. I appreciate everybody who came by. Like, subscribe, stop by Hobby Time Modelers. Yeah, I know. Stop by Hobby Time Modelers and on Facebook, and I think most of you are on YouTube. And we will see you next time. Have a great day tomorrow. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves, and we will catch you later.